So today we are actually going to be talking about a short series that's on Amazon, and each episode is around 29, 30-ish minutes long. This is a show that I felt a lot of people were straight up sleeping on. Alex, what is it? The Horrors of Dolores Roach. Okay, it's a short series. It's about, I think, maybe about 8 episodes, 30 minutes a piece, so you could get it out relatively quickly if that's what you want to do. We are going to be reviewing this season 1, episode 1, and it is called They Call Me Magic Hands. Okay, before we get into this though, do not forget to leave a comment down below, also like and subscribe. Now let's get into this show. The way that it starts is we are seeing a red carpet premiere. You got all the celebrities and they're like they're doing all that little extra stuff, and I'm like, okay. And you see that you have like a playbill and it says Dolores Roach. So I was like, oh, okay, so all these people are like for a play premiere, they're going to be watching Dolores Roach. Okay, cool. So you see a woman on stage who's obviously portraying Dolores Roach. She has a heart in her hand, all bloody, she's a Latina chick and everything. And she was like, I can't tell you how many times that I cannot be stopped, but I miss you. And then the play ends. Okay, so she go into her dressing room, and that's where we skip to, is backstage / dressing room. We have the actor, and we have a black lady, and we have a white dude, and she's talking to him. They're like, I don't know, I didn't really get that they were like homegirls, homeboys. I got more like publicist, acquaintance, I guess we could call them friends, but not like that. I didn't feel that. It felt kind of fake to me that how these people were talking, but whatever. Could just be how they were. The lady, she was over here saying, the person who's portraying Dolores Roach, the actor, she's over here saying, oh, I can't wait to be done with this role. It's just too much. She's like, I had to crawl into her skin. It's just too much for me. I'm so done with that. And then they're like, yeah, girl, yeah, but we got this after party. We're going to go tell you want to go. And she's like, yeah, I go. I just got to clean all this blood off of me. And she's like, yeah. Okay. So that's what's going on. So they end up leaving the room. And as the actor's cleaning off the blood off her hands and all that, you see like news clippings of Dolores Roach. This is so she could like kind of portray her better. Okay. So you see these news clippings, and then the camera shoots up to the real Dolores Roach. Okay. And this woman is supposed to have killed multiple people, y'all. So she's standing in her dressing room, and she's like, oh, shoot. Like, and she scares her. She's like, oh, no, I don't mean that. She's like, what I don't like is how you're making everybody money except for me. Okay, you using my name and you're telling the story in your way, not mine. And I was like, and then she puts her hand on her shoulders, right? And you see like her hand it looks like it's been burnt by something. Okay, like maybe like a 3rd-degree burn. And she's like, what happened to your hand? She's like, oh, I thought you crawled up in my skin. Huh? You missed that part in your research. So it was like, oh man, are these magical hands going to off her? We don't know. So she's like, I'm going to tell you some ish that you cannot unknow or wash off. Okay, she's like, I want to set this record straight. So now we go into a flashback. So this is how it begins. And throughout the series, we are pretty much in her flashback. Okay, so we are in a flashback, New York, Washington Heights, and she's like narrating as we're seeing the scene as well. And she's like, yeah, this was a couple years after 9/11. People were trying to love each other, get lovey-dovey again and all that. So she's over here talking about her and her man, Dominic. Okay, mind y'all, just remember, this is a flashback. So she's talking about her and her man, Dominic, and you see that they are not, or I guess he is not all around kosher. Okay, because he's obviously selling drugs. Okay, Alice, how do you know that? Because they went into their bathroom and they have like a piece of tile, a panel of tile, whatnot, that they have carved out to stash money. Okay, so homeboy is not, he's not kosher, if you will. So where they keep the money stashed. And Dominic apparently said, yo, be here around this time or whatnot, in the apartment. Make sure you're here because you're going to be meeting with Antonio, and Antonio's going to give you the weed. Okay. And then she was like, okay, yeah. So then Antonio's supposed to come. She goes and opens the door. It is Phoebe It's the FBI, y'all. And the place gets raided by the FBI. She's like, what? She getting arrested. She's like, whoa, hold up. Wait, where's Dominic? Wait, she's like, Y'all, this fool left her to take the rap for everything. She ends up being in jail. Cannot get in contact. He changed the number, everything. She has been in jail for 16 years, y'all, at the New York State Correctional Facility. She was there with the lady and as her cellmate, Tamala, who was a handless masseuse. Like, she didn't have hands anymore. Okay, y'all. So whatever happened to her, we don't know yet. Okay. So now we are at a point where she is finally released from jail after being there for 16 years. They give her money, when they'll give you a train ticket and they'll give you X amount of cash, like $200 or whatever. That's what they end up giving her. And she was like, okay, I'm gonna get on the train or whatnot. She's just seeing how people are just mean. Okay, she's over here walking, the lady, she's over here jogging, and she kind of like shoves her out of the way, and all these other people. I mean, some of it she had it coming to her because she's walking in the middle of the street, not even paying attention, and people are over here about to hit her, So she's like, okay, I just got out, I'm on the train, I'm gonna go back to Washington Heights. Okay. She goes there. She's like, I don't even recognize this place. She says completely gentrified. And she's like, almost, because homeboy's over here selling drugs in the middle of the street. Okay. She's like, I hardly even recognize anything. So she was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to my old apartment. Let me see what the bee's knees are going on over there. Okay. She goes over there. And she sees the door buzzer, and it's like the new technology and everything. She's like, what is this? And then someone was about to leave, or someone was leaving. She just got into the apartment. She knocks on the apartment. She knocks on the apartment door. And this white lady that's living there. She's like, yes. She's like, I was just wondering, like, do you know if a Dominic lives here? She was like, no, I don't know. She's like, well, can I get a tampon? She's like, I just don't want to be bleeding all over your floor out here. And then the lady was like, yeah, sure, you random stranger, come to my house, And I was like, girl, I wouldn't have done that, but whatever. So she goes into the apartment, and she goes into the bathroom, opens up that little slab, that tile that was in the bathroom that was hiding all that money. No money in there. She's like, what am I gonna do? That's what I was banking on. I mean, this is my money. I thought. I mean, what the heck happened? A lot has changed in 16 years. So she's like depressed. She's like, she loses it. She starts screaming, rips off the shower curtain. And she comes out of the apartment. She comes out of it. And she's like, I hope I didn't make you feel nervous. She's like, I really don't want to be that person. I'll just leave. And they're like, yeah, go. Okay. Because the husband was more like, why are you letting this person come in our house? We don't know this person. The wife was like, oh, but I mean, she may be nice. And it's like, you don't know this person. Okay. So now we're outside of the apartment on the sidewalk, outside. And the dude that was selling the drugs comes over and he's like, little mama, hey, who are you looking for? And she was like, Dominic. And then he was like, Dominic? She was like, yeah, Dominic. You know where he is? He used to run the street. Ain't nobody running the streets like that. And then they start getting back and forth. Then she goes and slaps him. And I was like, oh, girl, yeah, okay. Oh, she was like, if he was still running this place, one, we wouldn't have people like you over here just selling drugs out in the open. One. She said, and two, all these people, they will respect me, So I was like, ooh. And she was like, you know what? Screw you, dude. So then she starts walking, and she sees a place called Empanada Loco. Okay, it's a restaurant that sells empanadas. So she's like, ooh, I remember this place. Ooh, she running. Okay, and then there is a black delivery dude who, he's bringing the deliveries out or whatever. He's about to, go. And then they start having a little banter back and forth. And I'm like, okay. Maybe something may happen with y'all in the future. I don't know. But I was like, okay, I'm going to remember you. So then there is this trans person named Nelly that works at this empanada place. Oh, terrible. I hate this character. This person, Nelly, on the phone, what you want? And she's like, oh, can I get an empanada? Sure. And I'm like, so then Nelly goes and pulls out an empanada, because she was like, oh, I want this particular one. Nelly was like, okay, whatever. Gives it, and then was like, it's like $1.88 or something. So then Dolores pulls out a 50 because apparently they gave $200 in 50s though to her when she got out. And Nelly's like, we can't break a 50. And she's like, well, I want an empanada and I got money. Well, we can't break a 50. So, y'all, Nelly goes and takes the empanada, puts it back there, and is like, we can't break a 50. I was like, I'm going to remember that. So then Dolores is like, you suck. One, I'm out. And she's about to go. And this guy, Luis, pops up, right? And Luis, he's over here like, hey, I remember you. It's Dolores Roach. Hey, whatever you want. I got empanadas. I got a whole bunch. I'll get you whatever you want. So then he goes and gives her like free empanadas. And they're in the back room, in the kitchen area, talking. Y'all, this is hilarious. Girl. This is hilarious because he's over as she's eating. Apparently she's in a splash zone. He's over here pulling apart chicken and y'all. A piece of chicken raw chicken, by the way. It falls right here. So he's pulling apart and she's like, and he's like, oh, my bad, should have warned you about the splash zone. Here's a napkin. She's like what the heck, dude? The heck is wrong with you? I thought that was hilarious. So he just starts chopping this meat and it's just as she's telling all her stuff and as she's getting agitated because Dominic is nowhere to be found. She has really no money. She has really no place to stay. So she's like, I don't know what to do. Oh my God. I'm going to just be out on the streets, essentially. I got this guy who's nice to me, but and then as all this is happening, the music is more intense and he's just chopping this raw meat in front of her. And she's just like, oh. So then she goes and asks, like, do you know where Dominic is? He's like, I ain't seen him in a while. She's like, what's going on? She was like, I don't have anything. He was like, you know what, mommy? Let's go downstairs to the basement of this place. It's a mixed use kind of building. He was like, well, let's go down to the basement. That's where I live. So then they go down there. Y'all, homeboy starts rolling a blunt. I mean, this thing is fat too. So he starts rolling a blunt and she's like, just looking how freely he's rolling. And she's like, I was in prison. I was in jail for 16 years for this effing plant. She's like, this is ain't this about what I mean? So he was like, yo, this is a sour apple pop strain. Okay. She takes one hit and immediately starts choking. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna go get you some water. The water faucet, there's no water coming out because apparently the people who own the building now, since it got sold over to new ownership, they're like, I don't care about y'all, so whatever, so they're not going to fix the plumbing issues. So then the water abruptly turns on. It scares Dolores. He gives her some water, whatever. She was over here saying like, wow, it's so crazy how the drug business even got gentrified. Before, people like me, oh, you got an ounce of weed? Okay, prison for 20 years. Meanwhile, now you got all these other people, you know what I mean? You got all these other people out here who are just freely selling this. Dispensaries, they got cookies with this in it. They got gummy bears with this in it. They got almonds with in it. And they got cakes. And it's like, wait, hold up. I thought this wasn't cool. I thought this wasn't kosher. Oh, okay. Never mind. So then as she's high, she's thinking about everything, all the changes, everything she experienced today, how everything has changed, everything's new. And she sees that Luis is over there ranting. She's like, what the heck is wrong with this? Her reactions were hilarious in here. She's over here like, what is wrong with you? And she even says like, what's wrong with you? And he was like, oh, I think I'm having a panic attack. And then he sits down and then she uses her magic hands. She starts rubbing his neck and his shoulder. He's like, oh, yeah. He's like, well, where'd you learn how to do this? From a handless masseuse, Tamala or whatever, that was in my cell for 16 years, And she was like, I used to get commissary and stuff like that. I traded for massages. And I was like, dang, okay. He was like, you know what? I'm not asking you. I want you to stay here with me. He's like, you don't have anywhere else to go. He said, my dad, he died in that room, but you're free to take his room. And she was like, oh, he was like, I could feed you, I could smoke you out and all that. He was like, I want you around. And she was like, okay, cool. And he was like, I miss you, Dolores Roach. I've been thinking about you a lot. And she's like, this fool crazy, but I ain't got nowhere else to stay, so I'll just stay. So then we cut to a scene where she's down there in that little basement area and she's taking a shower and she just is feeling like, for the first time in a long time, I'm not being watched by other people. I could just relax. She starts laying in the bed and she's contemplating life and everything. And she's like, I'm laying in his dead daddy's bed. Ooh, but I gotta do it. Like, how can my life get here? How did my life get here? So then we cut to, she is now in the dressing room, present time, with the actor. Okay. After she told that bit of story. And the actress is looking at Dolores at the end, and the song Sweeney Todd the Barber starts playing. And that is the end of that episode. I'm gonna be real, this show was fun. Okay. It's a fun, get you thinking kind of show, you know. Later on it has some stuff, but it is a fun, enjoyable show. I highly recommend you watch it. It is on Amazon, so if you have Amazon Prime, which a lot of people do, I would recommend checking it out. And let me know if you all have seen this episode or just overall the show and what your thoughts and opinions were of it. But until then.